This week on the 302, it's soon to be the spot where all the kids are at, and the community for that matter. We're getting an update on the Urban Artists Exchange here in Wilmington. Get ready, the transformation is gonna blow your mind. The 302 is next. Welcome to Wilmington's Urban Artists Exchange. If you are a longtime 302 viewer, then you know things have really changed here just by looking behind us. We're joined by Wilmington's Cultural Affairs Director and a longtime friend of the 302, Tina Betts. Tina, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for inviting me back, Jackie. It's my pleasure.
It is night and day. If you remember, I think it was like 4 years ago or 5, I can't remember, a while ago, we sat here and it was all rocks and nothing had been done, and I am blown away. Tell me about what's been going on here.
Well, evolution is a good thing.
Yeah.
And this 1 acre parcel has definitely evolved. We started with the stables, where we renovated the stables. As you mentioned, they were totally just falling apart.
Sure.
The only thing that we could keep from the stables were the steel beams that are inside. Everything else went away. As soon as they were done, which was in 2020, we started doing a arts apprenticeship here during the summer, 6 weeks with young folks 14 to 18 years old. And that was the first year of the pandemic. So we had a fairly small class that year. But ever since then, we have had that summer apprenticeship program while we were working on the rest of the site that you see behind us.
It really is amazing, and the whole point of this is to take what was the police horse stables, right, and turn it into a place where creativity can thrive in the heart of the city. And we're right by Clifford Brown Memorial Park, so this place has really made a transformation with music and art. I see you're building an amphitheater over
Yes, the amphitheater is actually done.
Okay.
And it's an amphitheater that will be able to accommodate, a duo if we want to, but also a group as large as the Delaware Symphony Orchestra, because it's like 55 feet wide and 35 feet deep. There's a green room that we'll be able to use for our artists, and a production booth that's in the center of the site. So yeah, it's that was one of the, after the stables, the amphitheater was one of the first things that we concentrated on. And then the rest of the site, which includes a storm water management system that's underground that will help mitigate the stormwater runoff that used to flood the community and go directly into the Brandywine. Now it will go through the stormwater management system so that when it reaches the Brandywine, it hasn't been picking up all of the stuff from the street and everything. So there are rain gardens, and as you can see, young plantings. Just can't wait to see what they're going to look like 5 years from now. It's a beautiful thing. The sod just went down last week. There are still piles of soil behind us and rocks because it is still a project in progress.
Absolutely.
With a lot of progress already being made.
Sure. So when we talk about the various, stalls that you have here, the spaces, I know you have, the goal is to bring in artists, and you said you had a very small class. Can you talk to me a little bit about the artists that you've been able to come in to use the spaces?
Well, our young apprenticeship is our 6-week summertime program, but we also rent out space at a very reasonable price to our local artist community. So there are 3 spaces that are currently rented because during the summertime we use the rest of the spaces for our apprenticeship program. But we have 3 artists that are on site that will be teaching artists in our apprenticeship program. So that's, we charge a very low rent for our artists, and then they give back by being teachers, teaching artists for our apprenticeship program.
Can you tell us about the 3 artists? Are they prints, or are they printmakers? Are they artists like paint? Are they sculptors? I mean, what's their medium and what are they all about?
They are all of them, well, not print. right now, but we have visual artists who paint, also artists who do macrame, and that sort of thing. So there is some textile artists in there, but primarily they're artists who paint right now. And so it's, you know, but we're open. Eventually we're going to have air conditioning and heat in this as soon as we raise the money, more money, so that we can use it year round, and then we will have artists occupying more of the spaces in the late fall, throughout the winter time and early spring, until we get ready to do our summer apprenticeship program again.
Well, you can really tell that things are in motion here whenever you look at the doors. I mean, they're really just the design. And I know you're talking about the landscaping. I can't wait to see. I know that in the blueprints, I don't know if it was like painted concrete or what. You do have some painted concrete over there, but is the idea just to have everything artwork?
Well, eventually, yes. And we decided to go with a different, in between here, you can see that it's a lot of green.
Yeah.
And we decided to go with more green rather than the concrete going all the way through. But the areas that we do have concrete, that are both entrances off of Walnut Street and off of Clifford Brown Walk, eventually will be paintings, will be artwork, yes.
Yeah, already in progress. Just a wonderful creative space to be. And that was the whole point.
That's exactly the point. And we took a space that was, I want to say not used, but misused, I think is more, is a better way of saying it. It was just misused. It was overgrown, and it was used for things that simply weren't conducive to bringing positive energy to the community. And now what we have is an urban green space where we have young people being mentored in the arts. We will have weekly concerts to start off, plus a monthly Saturday art fair. So, you know, this is a very positive vibe for the community.
Absolutely, I can feel it.
Absolutely.
So when we come back, we're going to get a closer look. We're going to go check out the community space and learn more about the Urban Artists Exchange. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Laura Fravel. I'm the Sewell C. Biggs Curator of American Art at the Biggs Museum of American Art, and I enjoy art on the 302.
So Tina, I really like the design of the doors. Did you guys have an architect come in to do this, or is this something that you or someone else thought up?
Well, I was the art director, but of course we did have an architect come in to take the ideas and make them real. So we decided that because this is a former horse stables, we wanted to keep some of the elements that that drew on that for inspiration, or we were inspired by that. And as you can see, the handles are, you can see that there are horseshoes, exactly. And our barn doors, well, they're barn doors.
Opens? Oh, this is the one that opens.
That one opens. If you pull that open,
wow.
This is our community space, and this is a series of 3 stables. All of the other stables are single stables, and they're 18 by 18. And then this is a combination of 3 stables that we put together that we use as a community space and a meeting space, and we have performances in here where we seat people.
So this is where you go in, where people can have meetings and things like that. What have you used it for?
We've used it for workshops. Last year we had a Black storytelling residency, a 1-week residency, where at the end of that we had a storytelling event. So we had our storytellers come in to do their art in front of an audience in here. So it's been used for a number of different things. Dance classes. We have a choreographer that comes in that teaches the community dance. So it's open for any artistic type of event or workshop or activity.
And it's being used, even though it's kind of in its metamorphosis, you know, continuing to grow and be better and better. Already, the community has really bought into it.
Absolutely. I mean, and it reminds you of the arts. That's exactly what it is. You take what you have and you make it into something, and then you continue to, you know, to help it evolve so that eventually you have a piece of artwork that is displayed in an exhibit or in a museum. But it didn't start off that way. It started off with just a blank canvas, and then, you know, just little by little you develop that canvas. And when you're composing music, you start off with an idea, maybe a melody in your head, maybe lyrics in your head, and then you take those ideas and eventually you start putting them together together until they turn into something like
Absolutely.
this urban green space that we have for the community that has evolved tremendously over the years.
Now, I know you're a dreamer, so I'm sure there are people that were like, Tina, I don't know about this. Did you have people that didn't kind of see the vision, but that are now like, oh my gosh, I should have listened to you back then?
There are always people like that. You're absolutely right. Because, you know, I mean, some people can take, they can look at a chair that seems to be broken and, you know, and distressed and envision something that is a thing of beauty when they take their creativity and infuse that piece of furniture with it. That's exactly the way this was. And we understand there are people who, you know, just, you know, that's not how their mind works. And so we just keep plugging away until little by little, you know, folks will come over, they'll see the green grass and they'll see the stage and they'll go, yeah, you know, now I understand.
I get it. So tell me about the mural that you have at the end of the walk.
This mural was done 3 years ago by the youth apprentices that participated in that year's Arts Work Youth Apprenticeship Summer Program or something like that.
Wow, that's a long one.
Summer's in there someplace.
Yeah.
Because it happens in the summer season and it's 6 weeks long.
Right.
And there are different projects that the young people involve themselves in. And that mural on the ground was one of them that year.
And it really has is that hope. You know, and that's really so essential whenever you're trying to build, you know, a creativity, like a magnet place in a community, you know,
Absolutely.
that you have that, you build that hope and that trust with the community to say, this is a space I feel comfortable in, this is a space I want to come to and learn how to do these things that maybe I otherwise, you know, don't have access to. So talk to me about the access that this place is really bringing to the community.
Yeah, in addition to times when we are doing, you know, coordinated events here, this space will be open for people just to come and find peace, find find some respite, be inspired. You know, if they're artists, be inspired to, you know, take what they're getting from being in the space away to create their art. You know, or just come and sit and be with yourselves, or come and sit and be with others. You know, to commune with others and connect with others. So, you know, we want to make this as accessible as we absolutely can. The performances that we will be using on the amphitheater, we will be doing them free to the public because we don't want any barriers to accessibility. And frequently, finance, you know, having even $1 a person, you know, which maybe doesn't seem like much to most people, to some people it is much. And so we simply don't want to put that barrier in front of people. In addition to that, if you look around you, you can see that this is walkable from many different parts of the city of Wilmington, especially our east side, our northeast communities. So we're at Old Brandywine Village. So we are really happy that we have people that will just come here and enjoy.
Excellent. We're going to go even deeper into the Urban Artists Exchange when we return.
I'm Mike Connolly. I'm the Executive Director at the Newcastle Historical Society. We'd love to welcome you to Newcastle and tell you all about the history of the 302, Delaware.
Tina, we are deeper into the Urban Artists Exchange, and this is really cool. I know there's a lot of construction and a lot of work that needs to be done. So talk to me a little bit about, you know, you mentioned fundraising in order to, you know, get this gem to completion. What's happening?
Well, first of all, I have to say a big thank you to the City of Wilmington, Mayor Mike Przicki, who has invested many dollars into this project. Also, the Longwood Foundation is a supporter of the project, the Welfare Foundation, Delaware Community Foundation, the State of Delaware, and Porter Chevrolet. So we have had lots and lots of supports, and those are our big donors. And of course, ideas on how to use this have come from the community.
Sure.
And you mentioned that, you know, we have, you know, a little bit of more progress to make.
A little bit more.
2 weeks ago, if you had been here 2 weeks ago to see the progress just in the past 2 weeks has been astounding.
I know we're standing on brand new sod.
Yes. And when the mayor was here taking a tour a couple of weeks ago, Mayor Mike Przicki, he looked around and he said, so sod will be here? And it's like, yeah. He said, well, how are you going to water it? And I said, well, you know, we have a a couple of, outlets where we're going to, get the hose. He said, no, you can't do that way. You have got to have an irrigation system.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he found a way to make that happen. He is really invested in this project and in the entire East Side community and many other neighborhoods and communities around the city. So, yeah.
So when we talk about, this project, so many people, are focused on it now that it's really going.
Yeah.
And it's like this area, this community has really changed, not just here, but you have new buildings. So it's kind of like the reverse of the broken window syndrome. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
So talk to me a little bit about how something this awesome can kind of send a vibe that just improves everything around it.
It is a ripple effect. I mean, if you take something and make it into something good, it does have that ripple effect.
Yeah.
Folks who are, close to it want to make sure that, when people are walking through and coming through and seeing what, where it is they live and where it is they play,
pride.
They want a sense of pride. And that's exactly what a project such as this engenders. And that has been proven over and over again with study after study that's been done that says if you take something and make it into, if you take something that has potential, and take that potential and make it into something that is satisfying and fulfilling and just engenders a sense of pride, that it does have this ripple effect. Now I have to say that the ripple effect also happened coming in reverse.
Oh, it did?
Because this is one of the communities that the city of Wilmington targeted for improvement, for revitalization. So there's a lot of give and take around us. Where we're feeding energy off of each other to make it better for the people who live here, who deserve to have the absolute best that we can offer them.
Absolutely, and it really is turning out so good. When do you think that you could have an end, or at least of this phase? Because I know how these things go. You put something wonderful up, and then you add a little something else.
Exactly.
Something else. But when do you think that this will be ready for, an offshoot of one of the jazz festivals?
Believe it or not, we will have our first performance here on June 28th. It will be one of the Levitt Foundation's AMP concert series. That will be a series of 10 that we will start on June 28th and do for 10 weeks in a row. I think we skip over that July 4th week.
Yeah, well, it's
10 weeks of a concert series that's funded by the Levitt Foundation out of Los Angeles, California. They've given us 3 years of funding.
That's amazing. So when you see all of this happen, because again, going back to a couple years ago when we first met, we did our first show together. This is all pebbles and
grass.
I mean,
and
it was
weeds.
yeah. It was like I was like, how are they going to do this?
Right.
And you did. So how does that feel personally? I mean, there was a whole team behind you,
Absolutely.
but you really are like the Diana Ross of this situation, where you're like, oh, I believe this is where we're going. How does that feel personally to see this happen?
Well, there was a team behind, but also a team, side by side with me, and
Absolutely.
there were, even people in front of me who
It's gotta
helped make
feel
this
good.
happen. It does feel good. It feels good that people, as we said earlier, can see the vision and invest in the vision and help to make it happen.
Well, we can't wait to see how it all comes together and everything. If somebody, says to themselves, I'd like to help out, is there some kind of fundraiser or some way they can reach out and say, you need landscaping, or here's $20 or anything? How can I get involved? How can I see what's happening? What do they do?
My contact information is on the City of Wilmington's website, of course, and also City Fest Inc. And I have to let everybody know that any contributions that go to City Fest Inc., CITYFEST Inc., are tax deductible to whatever the IRS says they are. Absolutely. It is a nonprofit that's City of Wilmington affiliated, but it is an independent nonprofit that folks can donate to.
That's fantastic. Now, my last question before we wrap things up, because I know you're a busy busy lady. You got the bike, the urban
bike project?
Yes. How does that fit into this whole thing?
Well, you know, they are good neighbors. It's so perfect. As a matter of fact, they've used one of our stables to work on bikes, to make art, you know, to paint bikes and things like that. So we work cooperatively together. They are very good neighbors to have.
Well, I'd just like to congratulate you and the city of Wilmington on really just making this space really special.
Well, thank you, Jackie.
You're welcome.
Thank you for helping us tell folks about it.
Well, we love Wilmington. We love Delaware. That's why we call ourselves a 302. We got a little bit of competition for our mics. Tina, thank you so much for joining us. As
thank you
always.
very, very much. Appreciate it.
We'll be right back. Are you enjoying this episode of the 302? If you come down to the Urban Artists Exchange, make sure you snap a picture and share it with us on Facebook. Now, here are some other things you can check out in the community. That'll do it for this week's episode of the 302. For more information on the Urban Artists Exchange, you can visit cityfestwilm.com. We're going to leave you now with some beauty shots of Wilmington. Make sure you follow us on Facebook for more behind-the-scenes footage, interviews, and pictures. For now, I'm Jackie Ferris. Tell them you saw it on the 302.